Good evening, friends, and welcome to another late-night edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. If you like all things true crime related from that police detective's perspective, you're in the right place. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and this guy over here, Ed Wallace, when we go live or upload another video. Hey, tonight we're going to talk to you about Stephan Stearns, the body cam footage, and the 911 calls made by Madeline Soto's family to the Orange County Sheriff on the night that she was reported missing. Actually, it was the afternoon. And some of the lapses in that 911 system over there in Orange County, it's troubling for a parent to hear that. You know, let's put this case right on the forefront here, Ed. When you dial 911, you expect to get some type of response, right? And in this case, what we're going to get into tonight, we saw a major delayed response, which is troubling on their most accounts. But, like, I'm sure that if this was a shooting or if this was a person that wasn't breathing, they would put priority to it. But it took so many hours for them to get there. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. What's your thoughts, Ed?
Yeah, I can't imagine that happening here in our hometown. But, the sheriff's an elected official, and the people down there need to hold him accountable for this miserable response time. Okay, 4 hours after the last phone call before a sheriff shows up on a missing 13-year-old.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. And for me, like I said, as parents and as former law enforcement, it was troubling. Hey, I want to just say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, the moderators, the replay viewers, and all of the live audience. You guys are what makes this a great place. And I always like to give thanks and praise to you guys. Ed Wallace and I really appreciate you guys. I am recovering still. I got my shoulder in a sling. I had full torn rotator cuff. You guys know the surgery. Ed's, I don't know if you want to get into any of your stuff. Ed's got a lot going on with his family and so forth. So we thank you all for the prayers and for the positive vibes. We need it. We definitely need it. There's no doubt about it. But it's really, really, it's really refreshing to see how many people have reached out, and social media, website, email, text messages. You can follow us on everything social media, all one word, DutyRon. So thank you. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And I know Ed appreciates all the well wishes. I don't know, Ed, there's so much to get into here and unpack. I'm thinking of doing the 911 phone calls because we did that first. I was going to do the body cam footage. Should we pull the audience, Ed, and ask them what they want to see first? Because we're going to do both the body cam footage of the transport from Orange County Jail over to why do I always get stuck up on that? Osalita County. That transport blew my mind, Ed. When I saw that, I know I just screwed up that name. Trust me, I'm on pain medicine and I'm all messed up right now. But that transport really pissed me off because it reminded me of Shonda Vanderrock when the cop was being really nice to her, and he knew that what she did to her son. And in this case, they already knew that he was charged with all of these 60 charges of sexual battery and so forth. He was just being transported from one jurisdiction to another, one county to another, actually, or whatever. I was just surprised that the guy knows that he's on camera and he's still being, I'm not saying to be mean to the guy, but I wouldn't have turned the heat up for him. I'd have been like, fuck you. Yeah, I'm going to shut this window. You drive in the back and think about what you did. I mean, am I off base on that, Ed?
Well, there's no reason to be less than professional. You just do your professional job. There's also no reason for you to engage in any kind of communication with this unless that was part of the plan to see if maybe he would make some kind of spontaneous utterance about whatever, the case, about the case and so forth. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have engaged in the conversation with this individual, especially knowing what they were charged with. And,
yeah, I mean, I said the F word that was just for shock and awe here. I mean, I wouldn't have said that to the guy, but I would have been like to myself, hey, if you need any medical attention, I'll be all right. But I'm just going to keep the camera focused on you because in warrants, we did so many transports from many, many miles, right? And those transports, I tried to either, if I needed to debrief prisoner, if this prisoner was going to give me valuable information about another case or about some crime patterns that we had in the areas, I would debrief and engage. But if I was going from one jurisdiction to another and I'm bringing someone who's just served time for hard crime, I'm not saying anything to them unless they need to go to the bathroom or anything like that. There's no conversation. But that was eye-opening for me. I just was like even with Shonda Vander Ark, it freaked me out because the guy was nice to her at the house, and I get that he was trying to get information out of her. The kid, her son was just carted away in an ambulance, emaciated. What she did to him, but once he brought her to that jail, I would have been nice to her. He was like really friendly to her there, but we'll get into that in another video. So let's pool the audience. You guys want to hear the 911 call first and then the body cam footage second? We could do it in any order. I'd like to do it in the order that you guys want it to be done. Yeah, Tony from Equisearch, that's our drone pilot, Tony, said Ed's wall is loaded. Yeah, we got it. We talked about that on previous live streams. All right, so the 911 call, I could see it. 911, a couple of people want the video. We'll do them both. Trust me, we'll do them both. But let's dissect this 911 call because it was troubling as a parent. And I want to put us close because, hold on, I got to lean down a little bit. It was troubling for me as a parent when I heard all three of the people, and we don't know exactly who these people were. We don't know if it was the sister, the mom. One of them sounded like the grandmother. And we're not sure exactly who everybody was because they didn't release that information. But when they were being told that there's not a deputy available, and I just put myself in that same position. And what if that was my son or daughter? I would be freaked out. I mean, Ed, wouldn't you have been jumping up and down like, hey, are you kidding me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whoops. What did I just do?
Me off.
Okay, sorry, Ed. Go ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, when I was on patrol and we had missing persons, 911 dispatched us right away. We didn't, we could be holding jobs, but we had sectors and sectors responsible to go on the radio runs. We never had dispatchers hold a missing persons job while while other people were running around to, stabbings and shootings and so forth. I've never seen such a thing.
But in fairness to us, we're a police force of 36,000 or more. I mean, when I was on in 1991, it got bolstered to 40,000. And that's like, larger than some countries' armies. So we had an abundance of resources and manpower. I don't know what this Orange County Sheriff's troops are, what their numbers are like, but for a Monday night to tell someone who's calling for their child being missing that we don't have any deputies assigned, and we do it in an order of what's most, in a priority order. And they were just like, well, this is a young 13-year-old child missing.
Well, for all those folks who push defund the police, here's a prime example why you don't want to do defund the police. In fact, you want to fund them more so they can hire more, so they can have people out there run into these jobs as needed.
Right. Refund the police. LN says 2024 isn't the 1990s. Yeah. But for fuck's sake, LN, you would think that 1990s, you would have better in 2024. I would expect it to get better, not to get worse. So in 1991, when I started, we had a large police force. We had the Safe Street, Safe City in New York. It wasn't like that all across the United States, but you expect a little bit better, and that's pitiful. So let's take a listen to this. This is from Court TV. Vinnie Politan covered this a couple of nights ago, and he's got a think tank. We're going to scroll by the think tank and just listen to the 911 calls.
911, what's the location of your emergency? And do you need police, fire, or medical? Police, possibly. I'm reporting a missing child.
Okay, and the child that you're trying to report missing, are you calling on behalf of the parent?
Yes, on behalf of the mother. She's like,
Okay, and then and ma'am, how old is the child? And could I go ahead and get her name?
yes, it's.
And is she white, black, or Hispanic?
She's white.
Okay,
Blonde hair,
and
dirty blonde hair, blue eyes.
okay, hold on with me here. And then, what color shirt and pants was she last seen wearing?
Hold on, let me ask. Then, what color shirt and like what was she last wearing? Hold on, we're finding out.
Okay, and then how long has it been though since you guys have last seen her?
Since this morning, she was dropped off at school this morning, and apparently she never showed up. We called everyone we knew. No one's seen her.
Okay, and then ma'am, I just want to confirm though, was she last seen from this address? Is this where you guys last saw her?
No. She was last seen at the church next to Hunters Creek Middle School. I think it's called Peace Church. I'm not sure of the exact address. She was wearing a dark green hoodie, I believe.
What is the name of the church?
I think I'm pretty sure it's called Peace Church. It's the one right next to Hunters Creek Middle School. No.
Got it. It's across the street from it?
I'm not really sure the actual if this was the first, second, or third, but I have to assume by listening to this, Ed, that it sounds like it was the very first call. But it was not specified. We're going to listen to all three, and it really, in my eyes, it really doesn't matter the order of the calls. What matters is what these people were told. I mean,
I think this was the first call. And what do you mean by it wasn't specified?
I don't see anywhere online these calls were released, but I don't see any official. This was the first call. This was the second call. This is the third call.
But I think when you hear the next call, it's the same person that made this call saying, "Hey, I just called you a little while ago."
The last is frustrated and hangs up on the police.
Right, and I believe this person may be a relative of Jen's.
Right, either a sister or a cousin, or Jen also says in her interviews that her whole family was involved and everybody rallied up. But this was again on Monday, right after she went at 4:00 to pick her daughter up. She realized that the daughter wasn't there. And then either 4 or 4:45, I don't have the exact time. It was in between 4 and 4:45 that this call was placed. But I definitely have confirmation from the Orange County Sheriff, and I saved it. If you look at the very first press conference, the Orange County Sheriff says at the podium as he's announcing a missing and the steps that they're taking and how the bloodhounds are out, and they took an article of her clothing and searched the complex with negative results. He says, in the beginning of that, my deputies responded at 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
I believe so. Yeah. There's two. I just forgot about the other one. It's not Focal Point Church. It's
well, is it Peace United Methodist Church?
Yes.
Okay.
That one.
Okay, is she diagnosed with any medical mental conditions at all?
I know she takes medication for ADHD.
Okay, Shannon, I'll start with you.
So I'm gonna fast forward over this.
What strikes your
through this story later in the week as she was.
Okay, hold on.
Seems the same woman called.
I want to know how long missing child. Hi, I called not that long ago reporting a missing child. I just wanted to know how long the cops are going to take to get here.
Okay, hold on. Let me open up the call and let's see. The call is still currently pending to have the deputies respond out there, but we don't have any available deputies. We still have the call up though, holding.
Okay, so no one's on their way yet?
Not yet, no.
Does it take long for them to respond to the call?
if there's a big emergency in the area, and there's no units available, they put the calls on hold. But as soon as one becomes available, they respond to the next pressing call.
Okay. Yeah. We just need one here urgently. So
I understand. We still have the call. We still have the call holding.
Yes.
Yep, we still have the call holding for them. I'll go ahead and update them with the information.
All right. Thank you. Because this happened very recently, so we just want to get everyone here. She's been missing since 8 a.m. So we want to get everything done as soon as possible to try to find her.
I understand.
So Shannon,
This is since 8 a.m. And again, just disheartening as a retired police officer, but also as a parent. And here in 2024, this is America. You would think that they would get mutual aid from another department if they're in backlog and contract with another adjoining agency to come and answer these calls for service. It's just mind-boggling to me, just mind-boggling.
Yeah,
Now,
this is what happens when you live in an unincorporated city. The sheriff's office patrols your unincorporated city. You know, usually there's some kind of agreement for this. You don't have your own police department. Maybe your city is not big enough for it. But if that's the case, like I said, all these people who keep pressing for defund the police, you need more police, not less police.
right, exactly. And you know, to me, it's mind-boggling when people march in the street and say we got to defund the police. It just doesn't make sense. You need to refund them and give them more resources, give them more men and women to be out there. Obviously, this was a Monday night. This is not a Friday or a Saturday night. Those are our heavy nights. The Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, and sometimes even Sunday during the day was some of our busiest times. Heaven Reigns, thank you for being a member for 24 months. She says, love Ron and Ed. Thank you. Cotton Candy, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Greatly appreciate you. And Cindy Schneider, thank you for becoming a YouTube member as well. We appreciate all the memberships. And for those of you who send super chats and super thanks and cups of coffee, you guys are all great.
Thank you. I also want to give a shout out to Billy Ryan.
Oh, Billy's here.
Yeah, Billy's here.
Oh, let's say hello to him. Billy Ryan, great to see you, my brother from another retired NYPD detective. Ryan Investigative Group. Ryan Investigative Group, there he is. Thank you.
First grade. Billy.
First grader from arson and explosion. He retired out of there. He responded to the very first call in 1993 to the World Trade Center. And he's a professional. Anytime I call him, he helps me out. So thank you, Billy, for your support. And thank you for being a friend. We greatly appreciate you, brother. All right, let's listen to the grandma. She wasn't as friendly. And you know what? Whoever that was, whether that was Jen Soto's sister or you know, whatever, I'm just so surprised that she was so calm about this. And I think that she was probably in shock that she was getting those answers. Like, you know, we don't have a deputy, but as soon as we get one, we'll send them. And they do this to the grandmother. And
can we back up just a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Because remember that first phone call, it didn't appear that it was from the Soto's house, right? It was at some business, someplace where the sister was at.
Right. And in Jennifer Soto's interview inside her home, the infamous one where she's shaking her leg and you hear that bird, the feeding device saying, Jenny, feed, you know, it's food time. In that, I did that pretty good. In that video, she stated that the only place that she thought that her daughter could have gone, if she did go, would be to her mother's place of business, which was close by the school. How many of us in the chat remember Jen Soto saying that? If you didn't remember it, I have it queued up. I could play it for you, and we could listen to her say to the news reporter, the only place I think that's where they were. She probably freaked out and went to her mom's place of business, which was close by, and then asked everybody to come. You know, it's a possibility. I don't know.
No, if the sister worked there with the mom at that business, you know, that makes perfect sense. So she went, after she visited the school, didn't find her, went to the mom's business, and the sister was there, and it made the sister make the 911 call, because she said that you can clearly ask Jen, what was she wearing?
Right. You want me to go back to the first call?
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So now we're going to hear grandma, who's not going to be as pleasant, and I don't blame her. Listen, this is her granddaughter, and you know, there's no need to point fingers at grandma or any of these folks at this time. I'm talking about our analysis of this 911 call. We all know, you know, what developed and what unfolded after all of this, but we're doing an analysis of this 911 call, and it's troubling. This is troubling. You know, what would have happened if there was a couple of mass events? What would happen if, God forbid, there was a mass shooting at that location? Then what? God forbid, right? But we hear about them all the time. What if there was some catastrophe, an explosion, a gas leak? You know, your fire would respond, but you still need the police there. You'd still need the police there. And that's like, oh my God, it freaks me out. It really does. All right, let's listen to Grandma. She winds up hanging up on the 911 operator.
Third call right now.
Oh, okay. It's the third. Vinny said.
Please fire medical.
No, it's not a medical issue. We have a missing child since this morning. We already called 3 times, and the police didn't show up yet.
Yes, ma'am. I see it right here for you. Yes, ma'am. I see it. This is waiting for a deputy to respond.
They haven't come here yet.
I'm aware, ma'am. I see it. It's waiting for a deputy to respond.
You're waiting for a deputy to respond?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long more do we need to wait? It's a child missing.
I understand that, ma'am, but I'm just not able to give out ETA. I don't know when they'll be there.
So how long do we need to wait? This is an emergency.
Ma'am, we have the information, but they're trying to get there someone as soon as possible.
So this is not important for you guys? Really?
Ma'am, we're very busy in the area. Look, I understand they'll be there as soon as they can, okay?
Click. Ken, your thoughts?
No, it says and then she hangs up. I will say that third.
I just want to say, I'm not going to play this, but these are 2 local news reporters down there. So, I mean, if you want to go and listen to this was an interesting listen. I listened to this in its entirety. These are 2 local news reporters, and you know, they didn't go kick gloves with the police. They were equally as outraged. But I'll link it in the description if you guys want to go and watch it. Ed, again, none of this.
I'm a loss. You know, I already made my feelings known. This is not appropriate. This is, you know, I get it. You're busy and you're a small sheriff's office. You can't get a mutual aid agreement or something. Go call outside to Kissimmee or Orlando PD or whatever the case may be to get an assist here. You know, 13-year-old missing girl. Family has to call several times to get a response. And it turns out it wasn't a missing girl; it's a homicide. Okay?
Yeah, and when you talk about this, when the clock is ticking, that first 24 to 48 hours, it's important. Every second counts. Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm going to play a little bit of this video because this is where Jen talks about the her daughter, because a lot of people were saying in the chat they want to see it. So I'm going to play it quick. I'm not going to play it in its entirety, but this is that infamous video. Let's listen in.
Dropped her off close to the school, 4:45. Yes. We're just so worried.
When did you first realize, or when did you file a missing report?
We filed a missing report. We called the police at like 4:45.
So this is her own account, Ed. So we don't know if this is the exact time, but this is where I got that 4:45 from. She says we called the police at about 4:45. So she said that she goes to pick her daughter up at 4. So that sounds about right? Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, 4:45 p.m. But she actually went missing early that morning, around between 8:45 and 9 o'clock in the morning. She went missing.
And these times, as we know, are off. She's lying or is not, for whatever reason, telling the truth here, or has got bad memory retention. These are the possibilities, Ed. Either she could be lying, sticking to a story. There's Kara.
She says she's lying.
Window tough guy. The window tough girl says that she's lying.
That's what I'm hearing. You know, she heard you say the word lie. She started barking.
Kara's lying. All right, so let's listen. She says it right here, and her eyes tell it all. Jumpsuit Pablo, good to see you, my brother. He's the I've had Jumpsuit on with us before. He has a great YouTube channel. I'll link it here in the description. You guys can go over and subscribe to him. He's got 245,000 subscribers strong, and he can tell you everything about the prison game, ins and outs. A great guy who was on the Murdaugh case, and he gave me this body cam footage from tonight that we're going to play, and we'll promote that channel when we get to it. So good to see you, Pablo. Thank you for being here. Her eyes do tell the story as they look up every time, and her leg starts to shake. I mean, let's not turn this into that whole thing, but let's listen to her say 8:45-ish, and let's also listen to her say about possibly her going to her mom's.
We had dropped her off close to the school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
And who drops the kid off? Not at the school. And then she's asked by the reporter in this interview. I caught on to this again tonight. The reporter asked this woman, Jen Soto, would your daughter be able to direct somebody home if she was lost? If she got in a car with someone, would she be able to direct the person home to this house where you live? And at 13, she just turned 13. And you know what she said? She said no. What 13-year-old, does anybody have a 13-year-old that doesn't know what their home address was? I was teaching Ronnie and Frankie that when they were in kindergarten, what your home address is. I was teaching my kid very early to know where you live. She told the reporter she would not be able to get home. She doesn't know our address. That's a little weird. Don't you think that?
I agree. I mean, all she's got is an adult attention deficit disorder, right? Yeah. She's not on the autism scale or PRISM. Yeah, exactly.
And if she was if she was taking the ADHD or autism, but if she didn't have her scruples right and she couldn't get herself home, why the fuck would you drop her off up 2.5 blocks from the school at some church? Why? That, my friends, is something that I, as a detective, would be questioning her about. Wait a minute. You just told WFTV that your daughter wouldn't even know how to get home. So why in God's name would your partner drop her off at the church, which is 1.5 blocks, 2 blocks, good walk to the school? How can a dispatch learn? Thank you for the super chat, Stephanie. How can a dispatch learn to differentiate between a runaway juvenile versus an actual serious missing child situation, especially that is called in by a missing child? And if the mother was claiming that she had any type of disabilities like ADHD or autism, which I don't know. I don't think she talks about ADHD medication. That's here. She says this in this interview. But who knows what else was played on this? This is the Freedom of Information Act. So this is what they're releasing. Who knows what the entirety of these calls were? I mean, I don't think those were the full calls.
Well, yes, Stephanie, also, you treated to the most dangerous crime here. The most dangerous of the two would be a missing child. So you treat everything as a missing child until proven otherwise. Okay. Yes. You don't get into the nuance and start worrying about whether this is actually a missing child or a runaway. That's not a dispatcher's job. You get the information out and you send the troops.
Correct, Amundo. All right, let's listen to this.
Sorry. We dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
Now she's not there, so she's getting this all from her boyfriend.
Right.
You share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I know you had conversations with detectives. Not sure what that conversation is, but whichever you feel comfortable sharing, that we'll put the awareness out there.
Notice she wasn't shaking before that, and the whole cuckoo thing made her happy. And then when it went back to reality, it was back to that shaking and that nervousness. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, she was spotted walking by the church, by the middle school on the cameras. They saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and then get up and leave. We spoke about her birthday party. She had a birthday party on Sunday. She had a great time. I couldn't make it because I was working, but she had an amazing time. She was so happy with all her gifts. told her good night, and yeah, that was it. I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner.
But yeah,
13.
Yeah.
She's 13.
When did she, we never did clarify when she had that conversation. Was it in person or was it over the phone?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, only the detectives know because they've interviewed her and re-interviewed her. And we don't even know at this point if she lawyered up yet. So that's never been officially told. We're just here guessing. So
Madeline.
What are you thinking right now?
In my heart, I feel like somebody took her.
this is where he asks her now.
This isn't like her to just pick up and run away, or just not go to school. I don't know what to think.
Friends, the friends' parents, you've contacted and went through every single person?
Everyone that we know that she knows, we've contacted them all, reached out to them. The parents have gone out to search and look for her as well. And we haven't come up with anything yet.
I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook, Hunters Creek rants and raves and what have you. Did people say that they were going to conduct some type of like search party or anything?
A lot of people have asked me to volunteer, like if there is one, if they can do one. I have people passing out flyers, going to every store in that vicinity, a gas station, church. I think people were being stopped in the street this morning in front of the school to see if they've seen anything, if they've heard anything. My family they're going all out right now. Yeah.
I know as a mother, a lot is going on in your brain.
So much
to bring her back home. What have the law enforcement told you that you are able to share? Do you have any inkling where she possibly could be? Like if you would say, okay, last time I went to work and came back, she was at James' house or Sabrina's house, and maybe I forgot to check that house, or she played at this park one week and maybe she went back there or something like that.
We've looked everywhere we could have thought, and anywhere she would have been. She would have known to wait for me at the school. But we did check if she could have walked. My mom's office is close to the school. We checked there. We checked.
So there you have it. She really had to think about that. Like that was not something that came organically to her. When he asked her, is there any possibilities of where she could be? You could see, I mean, anybody, even without without training and interview and interrogation, you could see that she was reaching for things to say here. This was not flowing like a fluid story. This was something that she was thinking as she was going along.
Right, because she only had parts of it from her boyfriend. She only had bits of it. She wasn't totally read in to what actually took place.
Where if she could have walked, my mom's office is close to the school. We checked there. We checked the walking paths that she could have taken. We've checked all of her friend's house. Crocs, a black JanSport backpack with, and we haven't had any arguments recently. She's never done, not at all. Hours on it. It's white Crocs.
What was she wearing?
Checked everywhere. We've checked all of her friends there. We checked the walking paths that she could have taken. We've checked all of her friend's house. I think we've checked everywhere I could think of, honestly.
What do you think? Oh gosh, I just had it tip of my tongue. What was she wearing?
She was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, white Crocs, a black JanSport backpack with gray hibiscus flowers on it.
Pause.
Yeah, who says last scene?
what mother says she was last seen when you make a statement saying that 8 o'clock in the morning you saw her get dressed? You said goodbye to her.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. She was last seen.
Right. And we all know that she didn't see her because at 7:19 in the morning, Stephan Stearns was seen discarding her backpack and her school laptop in the dumpster. And then he came back at a little bit past 8:30, 8:20 with Madeline visible in the car, not alive, according to the sheriff from Orange County. So things that make you go, huh? And it's amazing that she's not arrested or in custody at this time. Like, just blows my mind. I guess they just don't have enough to affect a lawful arrest.
And you said this is not like her.
Not at all.
To run away, an argument, anything like that to provoke her.
She's never done anything like this, no. And we haven't had any arguments recently to have this outcome.
What school?
Hunters Creek Middle School.
Tom, any questions? No. Is there anything that you think our viewers would need to know just about the morning?
But like, does she know?
Yeah, here it is. Like, here it is.
Messages anywhere from her.
Here we go. This is where he asked her about her
I've
address.
looked at all her social medias.
This
I've looked
blows
at all
my
her
mind.
games she could have played with, any app. No weird conversations. No.
This is where she said she went through her phone, looked at her text messages, looked at her conversations in her phone. But the police chief, the sheriff in Orange County, also said at one point at a press conference that on her phone, I think it was the very first press conference he did, that on Madeline's phone, there was a text message to her friend, one of her friends, that when she turns 13, she wants to go and live in the woods. I don't think Madeline made that text message herself. I think that was done by Stearns. So there's still that conversation out there about that being in the phone. We don't know how it got there because we don't know at what point that was sent or made. We don't have any access to it when it was sent. You know?
I mean, it's not as if they can't get that information. So
right, but it's just we're not privy to it. So,
yeah.
All right, here the reporter asked her the final question: would she know how to get home if somebody picked her up?
Nothing strange. Everything was conversations with just normal friends or us.
That she knows how to get home by herself, as if, like, let's just say, take a bus or an Uber or something like that.
A bus or an Uber.
She would know how to get home alone, correct?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if she would know how to get home. Maybe, I mean, I'm thinking if someone got in the car with her and if she pointed the way, what roads, she probably could figure out how to get. But like, does she know her full address? I don't think she does.
Which would give me the.
That's it. I mean, I played that whole thing just to get to that part.
Well, how many times in school at the start? No, I'm saying how many times in school, especially she's in junior high school, at the start of the school year, do you have to fill out information about your address and your phone number and all these different things? How is it that this 13-year-old she believes does not know her full address or where she lives? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, that is a major red flag, and just so unbelievable. I mean, there's so many things about this that we could point out here. Let's go to the chat and say hello and thank everybody quickly because now we're at the second half. Michelle, thank you for becoming a member. Well, actually a member for 2 months. She says we appreciate your work. Thank you for that. I'm feeling kind of crappy right now. And I want to push through this. I want to get to the next part. Body cam footage. We're going to go over hashtag Ed, hashtag DutyRon in the chat. Girl Friday saying unbelievable. And yeah, it's really unbelievable. To me, it's mind boggling. And, you know, these small little details, the fine details are the things that us detectives look at. And when the beginning of that story is that Stephan Stearns drops her off, not at the school. That's major red flags. if I tried that with my own boys and said, hey, I'm going to drop you off a block away from your high school, they'd be like, Dad, what are you doing? Come on, just drop me in front where the drop-off line is and let me get out, and I'll see Mom later, you know, because it seemed like her story is that he drops her off and she picks her up. So, Ed, what are you seeing in the chat? I see you working the switchboard.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see what people saying. Yeah, at this point, I don't believe she realizes that her daughter was killed by her boyfriend.
At this point in the interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't arrested yet. So it's a possibility. Jennifer Nobles, good to see you. Thank you for being a platinum member for over 3 years. Love and appreciate your support, friendship, and respect to you, Jennifer, over in Bakersfield, California. Thank you for being here. So many good ones in the chat. Allison BD, Fuzzy Doxy, Cheryl F. Many people are here and supporting and hanging out with us. Jeff Litweiler and his wonderful wife sent a whole basket of cheese and crackers and goodies for me from Wyoming. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Michelle, thank you for the prayers for both of us. Hope your arm's healing. It's healing, but I don't really have great use of it. I have to just keep my shoulder stable to let that rotator cuff tear. The anchors that are in there they gotta heal. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to do that. All right. This next clip that I'm going to show you is from Phone Calls from Prison. I have his YouTube channel linked in the description. I'm going to tell you something. His channel should have hundreds of thousands of viewers because his whole channel is all of these phone calls and body cam footage from prison and so forth. And he had this. And why I love what this guy did is he took the time to put in subtitles. Because if you watch this body cam footage of Stephan Stearns being transported from Orange County over to Ed, do you know how to say the county?
Osceola.
Thank you, Ed. I have it written down.
You got a mental block with that town.
Oh my God, Osceola. All right, I got it now. So from Orange County to Osceola County, there was no reason to be friendly to this guy because he was a known predator, pedophile. They knew, this officer knew, you can't tell me, I don't transport somebody unless I know his history, right? Jails, it's done the same way in jails. You know, I'm taking a heavy out of the jail, right, Ed? I mean, Ed, I see you still living, but let's talk serious here now. You know, you're taking a heavy out of the jail. Right? Why wasn't there a second sheriff with him up in the passenger side? Why was that a one-guy transport, is what I'm saying, safety-wise. And two, he's just shooting the shit with them, talking about classical music and Hall's mental drops. And Stephan Stearns is talking about how it was cold and his core body temperature is low. This was a fucked up transport in my eyes. And I'm not saying that maybe this was protocol to them, but this was,
again, it's totally different than we do things. Yeah. We have two persons in the vehicle, not one officer transporting a perp. We always have two. Okay. So, I mean, it's totally different than the way we handle things up here.
Right.
But again, it's up to the individual officer if he wants to engage in conversation. At me, I wouldn't feel the need to engage this person in conversation unless some detective said, turn him into a chatty Cathy and see what he blurts out.
You don't even need that at that point. They had everything off of his phone. He was sunk. He's done on ice. Stephan Stearns will never see the light of day and never get out ever, 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 even if he's not charged with murder. But look at Crafty. Crafty, you're not alone. You're not alone. Gazillion people are saying the same thing. Why is it taking so long for a murder charge? Why isn't a scumbag charged with murder? Why isn't the mom charged with something? Why aren't they not coming down? Because he's on ice. They need to take their time.
Right. Not going anywhere.
We're all frustrated. We're all frustrated with it.
Also, for those in the chat, you keep talking about the autopsy report, but Florida law states that if this is a child and it's domestic violence, they don't release the autopsy results. We know it's homicide. We just don't know the manner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we do know the matter. It's homicide, but we just don't know the cause.
Right. We don't know the cause. We don't know how he did it. Did he bludgeon her to death? Did he suffocate her? Did he strangle her?
Did he overdose her?
Right. Did he poison her? You know, there are lots of possibilities. Jen, thank you for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Again, most of these videos that we do become demonetized because we're talking about sensitive topics. And it is what it is. So thank you for the support. And again, the cups of coffee, Patreon support, and you know, all of this stuff is greatly appreciated. So thank you guys. Thank you. Let's do it. So here's the channel, Phone Calls from Prison. I have his channel linked in the description. Look at this, man. This is some thumbnail, Ed. A picture of him close up. And this is actually within this body cam footage. This is how Stephan Stearns looked at this officer when he wasn't even paying attention to him.
This is the face of evil right there. Face of evil. It's got a kind of Charlie Manson kind of look there going on.
Yeah, yeah.
All he's missing is a swastika between his eyes.
This guy shouldn't see one good day. I hope that he rots in wherever jail that he's in now and whatever prison he winds up being in, because come May, I think 13th or the 18th, I believe it was May 13th, his trial is supposed to commence, which is amazing. But I'm going to link this YouTube channel down below in the description. And here it is, Phone Calls from Prison. When we're done here, go over there and flood his channel with positive messages that you came from DutyRon. Tell him DutyRon and Ed sent you. And make sure you subscribe. Give him a chance. Look at the content that he has. I think you'll be, it'll keep you occupied for a while. This is when the audio starts. Open it. That's the first one that I would not do, but I think in Florida it's hot and maybe there's no air circulating back there. Possibly, Ed.
But why is he putting the heat on then?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was just going to get to that. But this window doesn't have to be fully open. It could have been half or just.
Doesn't have to be open at all. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah, the cage is there for a reason. I wouldn't have given this scumbag that open cage. I really wouldn't have done it.
I'm going to make it warm for you, okay? You're welcome.
I thought Florida was warm, Ed.
Well, he's wearing short sleeves.
You feel that? Okay.
Right, Fuzzy Doxy? Could one of the mods grab the Phone Calls from Prison's YouTube channel and put it in the chat, please? If there's any mods here watching, and it's linked, just so you know, in the description of this video. Thank you, Black Rose. And so he's texting, and this guy's head is basically right in the window. I want to get to the part where they talk.
How's the temperature feel?
Better than it was.
Okay. You're welcome. Don't know why they don't do that. You know, why don't they just kind of like at least give you a blanket?
My core temperature was down. There was like a degree or two lower than it should have been.
Wow.
Regularly sleeping on bare metal. First night I was on concrete floor with the rolled toilet paper for a pillow. Nothing else.
That's what you get when you go to jail, jerk off. I mean, this just kills me when you hear a guy like this that knows he's caught and he still has the audacity to talk to this corrections officer like this and just think that like, oh, like this is such a sin. What's happening to me? I had to sleep on the floor. I had no. Come on, man.
Are you telling me that this transport officer doesn't know what he's charged with?
There's no freaking way in hell. You are not transporting somebody and not knowing what he's in there for. You can't tell me. I don't. Somebody's from that area and somebody's in corrections in that area that watches this. Prove me wrong that he doesn't know that. And if he doesn't know that, then shame on them. That's a security issue right there in itself. But it looks like they do these transports alone. Stephan Stearns arguably is probably shackled and in a travel belt, and he may even be feet might be handcuffed down. But what happens if he gets out of that? Look at what we saw in Leon County, Ed, with the escaped prisoner. He was in a cage prison bus, right? And he got out, and he was able to get the sheriff's gun, wrestled the gun away from the driver of the truck, and went off into the woods, and the rest is history. Killed the whole family.
2 days.
He's begging for blankets.
Oof. That sounds rough, man.
Yeah, rough.
Please forgive my cough.
Please forgive.
Been trying to get rid of it for the past like 2 or 3 days, and prior to that, I had a really bad cold. And
I always found Ricola honeys, honey Ricolas to replace with it.
you know, I like those, man. But have you ever tried the berry ones? The Ricola berry?
Oh my God.
Phenomenal. The Ricola berry ones, they almost taste like candy.
Yeah, careful.
I can't subscribe to this. I cannot. I would not be having a conversation about Ricola berry. And it's really a shame that you didn't get blankets and a pillow. Did you want me to get you a air mattress or something nice?
But once you get to the middle part, it's rough though, because like it's got a punch. You're talking about the one.
Let me know in the chat if you guys feel that this correction officer was way too nice to him. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he was way too nice. Put a 2 if you think this is what everyone should do. That this is how you should treat every pedophile that has sex over 400 different sexual depictions on his cell phone, videos, pictures of him having sex back to 2019 with somebody arguably in the single digits age-wise, meaning Madeline Soto. I hope to not see not one number 2 in this chat, but unfortunately we will see some of them. And for those who put the number 2 in the chat, I respect it, but I wholeheartedly disagree with you. This is a scumbag that doesn't deserve any nice treatment and any niceties, any type of complimentary conversation. He should get ungats, a big fat nothing. You don't get shit for what you did. And for those of you who are empathetic towards this guy, well, I hope nobody like this comes across your family one day. I think you'd have a different outlook on it if it did happen that way.
Does it have like the it's like a gooey menthol inside of it? So you haven't had the ones that have like the gooey part on the inside? Those are good until you bite into it and you're like, whoa, like it's a burst of like menthol. Yeah, it is. It is. I just got the regular Halls cherry. It's what I find at 7-Eleven, so. Really?
This guy didn't try to get anything out of him. Here's the difference. He didn't try to get any information out of him. There was no need to get information out of him. So the people in the chat that are saying, yeah, be nice to him and try to get anything out of him. And I know, Ed, you alluded to that too, but there was nothing needed to get out of this guy.
I think legally, It probably wouldn't have been admissible anyhow because he's in custodial custody and, you know,
he's charged.
He's charged.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I mean, it was just bringing him from one jurisdiction to another. Sheriffs sometimes work on patrol, and sometimes sheriffs work for, you know, it could be a sheriff from the correctional department. You know, our Nassau County sheriffs do all these transports.
Yeah, certain jurisdictions, the sheriff run the courthouses, they run the prisons, the jails, and then they do unincorporated city patrols for a fee.
This guy's getting no conversation from me, and this gets even worse. So I'm going to give a trigger warning here. This officer, this sheriff, even goes as far as to talk about his son. Did you see that, Ed, or hear that?
Yes, and I couldn't believe that he's bringing up personal information about his kid to a pedophile.
To a freaking pedophile, and that's a
oh hell no,
a double oh hell no,
oh hell no.
That's a no bueno, and I can even press this other one.
Pardon my.
But I'll stop it.
Bad boys, bad.
All right, what am I doing?
I can't get my kid to drink medicine. I gotta like mix it in his orange juice. For real, I gotta like literally like drink orange juice because it's good for you. It's vitamin C and. You know, because he will not.
Does anybody see that freak smiling in the background when he's mentioning his kid? Watch.
Mix it in his orange juice.
Oh.
For real, I gotta like literally like drink orange juice because it's good for you. It's vitamin C and
I just
because he will not. He'll literally like not drink his orange.
Now, pause it. Now remember this conversation here and that smile. If it turns out later we find out that he drugged her.
Yeah, with this smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He gets so goddamn happy when he starts talking about getting his son when he's sick to take medicine. Oh, gotta listen to it one more time.
I can't get my kid to drink medicine. I gotta like mix it in his orange juice.
I gotta mix it into
for real.
I gotta mix it into his orange juice. So that means it's a son.
I gotta like literally like drink orange juice because it's good for you. It's vitamin C and you know because he will not. He'll literally like
he will not. He literally. There you go. I saw like 5 people in the thing. How do you know he's talking about his son? Well, he's talking about his son because he's referring to him as a he.
Not drink his orange, his medicine, like at all.
Look at this, Jennifer. It's making me sick too.
You're not too tight, are they? You're welcome. You feel your body get back to a normal temperature? Yes, sir.
Mr. Stearns, did your body temperature get back to normal temperature? Oh, yes, it did. Thank you. Oh, yes, sir.
What kind of music you like? You like classical music? Huh. You're the first person that's ever said classical music. Yeah. Classical.
All right, Ron. I had it.
I got it. It's almost done, Ed. I'm not going to play it all
Classical
again. I just
song.
want to prove the point here.
Is the deputy sheriff here looking for 5 stars on this trip after it's over? What are we doing here?
Class, you're the first person. You're my first customer.
First one. I've never had anyone tell me classical music, and I actually like classical music. I do. I've never been to like an orchestra or like a concert like that. I've never been to one. Yeah. You're actually right, because let's say it's not a newer song, but let's say November Rain, right, by Guns N' Roses. What Slash does with the guitar,
I can't.
All right, shut it down, man. Shut it down.
Hold on, Wallace.
Austin. So, hey, it was. I mean, I didn't grow up in Puerto Rico because my mom left there when I was 2, and I grew up.
Oh God!
He goes on to talk about personal stuff with this fucking guy. It just blows my mind. Again, everyone go on over and hit the subscribe button over on Phone Calls from Prison. Here's the channel. I'm subscribed right here. See, subscribed. And I got all of my notifications on. I let them know that you came from Crime Time with DutyRon. Here's the reporter that day when he gets out of this police car. So this is a reporter. Let's listen to this.
Or acknowledge us.
Hold on.
Or answer
I want to set this
any
up.
of our-
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the day. Let me look at this day. Hold on. It might be the day or the day after. It was a month ago, and the day is March 1st, 2024. So this news reporter is waiting out of the Sally Port here as he arrives at the new jail, and she puts a mic in his face. But you see, this officer who we just watched, this sheriff, exchanged pleasantries with this scumbag. Watch what she says to him.
Questions. He was then driven to the back here where there is this fence, and he was brought.
This is the officer right here. This is the sheriff.
Into the back. You can hear me shouting some of those questions in that video. Stephan Stearns did look tired, and he did look somewhat quiet. We do know that he has asked for an attorney in this case. He has not admitted to anything. He refused to go to the courtroom yesterday for his first appearance. It does remain to be seen if this is just a transfer of charges to Osceola County, or if there could be sexual battery and possession of sexual child abuse. So reached into Orange County. That's where time, but this has also reached into Orange County. That's where he was picked up and put into jail there. So that is why we are both having this case in Orange and Osceola County. But it does remain to be seen if there are any potential new charges, since this is a very active investigation. Stephan, where's Maddie? Did you hurt her? Are you a pedophile? What's on your cell phone? Why aren't you talking to investigators? Where was Maddie last seen? Why aren't you helping her mother and her family? This is a little girl.
Now, the reason I know that they know that what he had on his cell phone is because the actual sheriff in Orange County at the press conference said, we took his phone and we forensically scrubbed it. So they already had all of this data, which just wasn't released to the media. They already knew. So it was all in the system. They knew why he was coming here, and they knew what his charges were at this point. This reporter just didn't know. But kudos to her for yelling that shit to him. And woof, unbelievable. I mean, again, I look at the Shonda Vanderrock body cam footage that we just reviewed last month. That officer sat there with her, and he was like being so nice to her until she got into jail. And he was like, oh, she's never been through this before. And the jail guard turned back to him and looked at him. Remember that, Ed? We had fun with that. But
yeah, you know how we are, right, Ron? You know how our sense of humor is in the police department and so forth. I can just see now his fellow deputies getting a hold of this and really razzing him about it.
Yeah, because it's all over. This is new. This is newly released within the last couple of days. And his coworkers, he's getting shit for this, man. And the crazy part is that he knew that there's a fixed camera in that car. This isn't his first transport, right? You heard him tell him, you're my first customer that told me that he likes classical music. he's done this before. This isn't his first rodeo. And that's the crazy part about it. It's just that, I don't know. I don't get it. Let's go to the chat and then we'll close it up. Let me see. Is there any super chats? Jen, thank you for the super sticker. Jeff, thank you for the $4.99. Here in our town, they just hired 2 more awesome officers. We love our police and sheriff deputies. Don't pull any crap in our town. Fund the law enforcement. There you go. Wyoming's a different part of the country, and look, Florida is everybody's a lot for the most part. Overwhelming majority of the residents of Florida, I would say, in the 90s, support the police. There's that 10% that are a criminal element or that just don't like the police for whatever reason, but it's a high number down in Florida that support the police. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Sharon, for becoming a member. Dorothy, thank you for the super sticker. Jen, if the officer is mean, guys won't talk. The guy doesn't need to talk. There's no need. And he didn't, as you see, he was being nice to him, but he didn't try to extract shit from him. So, Jen, this guy didn't try to do anything other than have some kind of smooth conversation with a real shitty person. Didn't that sheriff take a picture with Stearns behind her? With Stearns behind him? I don't know. Oh, she's talking about the sheriff's assistant. Remember there was that whole thing where she took pictures. She superimposed herself with Stearns walking in. That's correct, Stephanie. Good memory. We still haven't heard what happened to that sheriff and his assistant, that female assistant. Beach Life, thank you for becoming a member. And let's go to the live chat. Let's see who's here. Where you're watching, city and state. And let us know if you're new, first time watching. I'd like to say hello. Ed and I would like to say hello to all the new subscribers and everybody in between. The OGs that have been here from the beginning, everybody that's come aboard along the way, like Richella Pranzo and Pete, they've been here from the very, very beginning. Thank you for being here and being a mod and a channel member. What do you think, Ed? What do you think about this? Sharon Reynolds, channel member, says, I think he drugged Maddie, and that's how he killed her. Ed.
Well, remember that face he made when he was in the car when he's talking, when the deputy sheriff is talking about having to sneak the medicine in the orange juice for his son to take it. And he definitely related to it somehow.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Jamie Johnson says maybe the cop just likes to talk, but to a pedophile that's standing accused of having 400 sexual photographs and videos on his phone that they already had in their possession. These charges were just a formality. They were waiting to charge him with all that stuff. It happened probably the very next day after this. Let's see. Ohio, welcome in. Bakersfield, California. Aga is from Ohio. St. Louis.
Williamsburg.
Matthew and Savannah Soto, thank you for coming aboard. I hope you're enjoying your stay. ATS News, she's a Long Island girl from upstate New York. Good to see you. Thank you. Amber, she's got her own YouTube channel. Michelle's from Iowa. Tennessee, good to see you. Tennessee Vol Nurse, thank you. Thank you.
Daytona Beach.
Yeah, look at that. Florida, back to the blue. Thank you. Chicago, Mallory.
Cape Cod.
Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Mobile,
Ohio.
Alabama. London, UK.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I'm going backwards. You're probably going forward. Oh no, you're going with me. Hey Sharon, good to see you from London, England. Thank you. Michigan, a lot of Michigan. Hey, what do the people from Michigan think of Shonda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson? I'd like to get your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's see, Holbrook, Long Island. Ed, you'll be heading out to Long Island tomorrow, right?
Yes, I will. Folks, Ron alluded to it earlier, but my 90-year-old mother is in the hospital. She's having some blood pressure issues. And so she's been in there since Wednesday, and the family's been rotating, staying overnight with her. And it's my turn tomorrow night. So prayers for my mom so we can figure out exactly what all is happening with her and get her out of there as fast as possible.
Yes, Ed, prayers for your mom. May she, have a full recovery and get out of that hospital and get home to where she can start recovering. But they need to find out what the heck's going on. I know you're going to go over there and shake the tree up tomorrow going into Monday. The people who come in Monday morning, I wouldn't want to be them. That's for sure.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna say I'm not happy with the level of treatment. So we'll have to have a few words.
Yeah, he's going to take names and he's going to kick ass and take names. That's for sure. So we're wishing all the prayers are in the chat. It's flooding right now for your mom, Ed, and we'll continue to pray for her. I got to run. My shoulder's killing me. I know you got to get going. Listen, let us know what you think in the comment section about these two issues. The 9/11, the 911 calls, 3 of them. Again, someone brought up about the sheriff. I didn't forget about that, but that too was an embarrassment because he leaked on Instagram the crime scene photos of Madeline Soto dead in the woods there, Ed. And and then there was his assistant taking a selfie with Stephan Stearns getting loaded into the county jail there. So it's crazy, man. There are so many missteps that happen in this thing, and somebody's got some questions. Somebody's got some splaining to do on the LE side. That's for sure.
Ron, did you see anybody here from Australia or New Zealand?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I might have missed it. Why?
If you're here, chime up because I just got back from there, right? And Ron was harassing me the whole time I was there about kangaroos. He wanted kangaroos, and I told him I was in Sydney and Melbourne. They just don't roam around the streets of the cities of Melbourne. And
I was breaking his balls.
So I sent him photographs of kangaroos, but apparently they weren't good enough for him. Even a rare albino kangaroo.
I was too busy, Ed. I was too busy doing videos. Look, Wallace is in Sydney, Australia. I just crossed that.
Yeah, and because of that, I had to make sure to get Ron a little something from down under, and so I got him this hat.
Oh, let me see.
It has a kangaroo on it. All right.
I want to wear that in the next live stream as soon as I get that from you.
And I also got him a little something else, and this is made by the Aborigine, and it works.
Nice.
So he gets his boomerang.
I'm going to use it.
I also got myself a neat little take home. I don't know if many people will know what this is, but here you go.
I have a picture with you wearing that.
Okay, if you guys know what this is.
That looks like a Crocodile Dundee hat.
Oh, no, it's an Australian Army hat.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah,
I have a picture with you wearing that, Ed. Don't I?
Yeah.
Can I show that picture?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'll show it on the next live because I don't know where it is right now. Mary Flynn says, "Oh my God, I love it." So thank you, Ed, for taking out the time on a Saturday, and thank you to you, the live audience. You guys are what makes this live streaming a great place. So to the replay viewers, the moderators, and everybody that left us messages in the chat, hey, listen. Don't be offended. Our opinions and our thoughts may differ from yours. I love and respect everyone's thoughts and opinions. If you want to voice your opinion, just do it respectfully. And again, like I said, we're not always going to be on the same page. What we saw here tonight was despicable. I personally would never do something like this with any person that I was transporting. I don't care if it was a small felony, a small misdemeanor or a minor felony. I just don't like to get close and comfy with any criminal element when I'm doing something that's my job. Transporting, professional. I want to try to be as professional as I can, and most importantly, as safe as I can. And I didn't think that was a safe transport. He was too relaxed and too friendly, and more times than not, when you hear about prisoners killing police officers during transports or even during an engagement, an interaction, the freaking key thing that they say is the person was too nice. He was too nice, and I saw an opportunity to take advantage of him. I'm telling you, look at these line of duty deaths. This is what happens. So I hope and pray that this guy sees this video and looks at just this part right here. Please tighten it up on your tactics, tighten it up on the transports, and be safe. Be safe. You just want to get home to your family, and being friendly to somebody like this, somebody dangerous like this, is not worth it. It's not worth it. Ed, final words.
All right, folks, you know the drill, right? Stay safe, stay prepared, and watch your six.
Amen to that. And I want to send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to the team that is responsible to bring justice for Madeline Soto, because this is about justice, bringing justice for her. And please, please be patient with them. Be patient with the district attorney and everyone that's involved in this thing. It is important that we get justice for Madeline Soto, because that's who this is all about. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we thank you. Stand by for a message from the cop team, Kara, Oscar, and Popeye, our pets. Good night from New York. We'll see you soon.